Hi and welcome to Sci 1104. This is a very introductory lecture recording. I guess I'm going to say lecture recording and be a bit confused about that because we're not really using a traditional lecture format. We're just trying to use this recording format to convey information to you. So what I want to do in this my first introduction to you is just explain, hey, who are the people that you're going to meet in this course? Why am I going for this kind of recorded lecture delivery, plus computer labs and workshops? What are the administrations? And I thought it might be really good just to get off on the right foot for me to outline some expectations of you, and for me to say, hey, it's also reasonable for you to have some expectations of what you think you should get out of this course. So the first thing is, who am I? And that's probably a pretty useful thing for you to know. So my name is James Fogarty. The other person that you'll primarily meet throughout the course is Marit. Marit's a colleague of mine. We're both in the School of, or not the School of Agricultural Resource and Economics anymore. We're just called Agricultural and Resource Economics. And we're part of a much larger school now called the School of Agriculture and Environment. And that School of Agriculture and Environment has 4 discipline groups within it, one of which is agriculture and resource economics. So Marit's the really organised and efficient one of the pair of us, and so you'll see her talking about a number of topics, primarily about biodiversity topics and the water and carbon cycle and interesting things about that. She's a bit of an emphasis on public policy. If you look at Marit's research work, you'll find that she does a lot of integrated bioeconomic modelling, really looking at the interface between the environment and agriculture. If you look up my research profile, you'll see that it's a little bit harder to see a common theme in my research work, but I like to think of it as about helping people make better decisions, and the kinds of things I work on are a bit broader. So I work on everything from alcohol policy to working with local governments about public open space and how we maintain public open space, work on general natural resource management type problems, and I work with a lot of government departments, environmental regulation and water, the minerals side of things. So a wide range of government departments and regulatory bodies to try and help them think through about how we make good decisions, use scientific information, particularly data, and get to good outcomes. In terms of the broader group, I thought it also might be interesting for you to know what kind of things fit. So the title Agricultural and Resource Economics might make you think of just mining and agricultural production. But what we do in our group is really much more diverse than that. So we have a number of centres. So Centre for Environmental Economics and Policy, that's led by Dave Pannell, does lots of really interesting things on how we can create marine environments or marine parks or conservation activities to maximise our value for money. Environmental decision making, again, the same sort of concepts about how to make informed decisions. So that gets into some nerdy stuff about mathematical programming and statistics and how we can use those tools to help inform decision making. A big part of what we do here is what we call cooperative research centres. So a cooperative research centre is somewhere where the Commonwealth Government puts in a bunch of cash, industry puts in a bunch of cash, and then the universities say, hey, we've got some bright people working in our universities, will contribute their time. So we contribute to a number of those. Water sensitive urban design is one, and bushfire management is another. So these are really big interdisciplinary kind of research projects, and that kind of is a major feature of what we do. We also see that agriculture plays a very important role in international development in terms of how economic development progresses in different countries. There is also all the stuff that might spring to mind, mining and fisheries and forestry, trade policy, all those kinds of things that we do, and that's somewhere where I also work a bit in. But overall, the theme is interdisciplinary research and teaching. And I guess I wanted to sort of highlight that as that's the kind of background that the people that teach in the course come from. We have different backgrounds. So Marit has more of a sciencey background. I actually have more of an economics background, but we come together to try and solve complex problems. We need some of the logic from economics, we need some from lawyers, we need some from engineers, we need some from natural sciences, all of those sorts of things. So that's the kind of philosophy of the people that you're going to meet in here. Now, the next important thing is, why am I talking to you on this pre-recorded video? Okay, so there are a couple of things to go on here. One thing is that I just think it makes sense. This is a really efficient way for you to take in information. I watch a lot of stuff that's been pre-recorded, and I don't watch it at the normal speed. It's an option, you can watch it at a speed, so I think that you could probably do that to me as well. If I watch my YouTube videos and various recordings that people do at a speed above 1, I think it's probably reasonable for you to also do that. The other thing that's been pretty important in influencing my decision to go down this way is a MOOC that we run on agriculture, environment and nature, and that's completely online. So I think that there is some really efficient way of delivering information to you via this online format. Now, if I've gone online, unlike the full MOOC experience, what we've got here is still 3 contact hours a week, and I think that that's really important to emphasize, so that we're putting this material online, but a traditional course will have 3 contact hours per week, and we've maintained 3 contact hours a week. And instead of it being sort of 2 lectures and either a computer lab or a tutorial, we've got all the lectures online. Then we have a workshop tutorial, which is groups of 40. So we have a number of classes, they're repeats that we'll run, and then also this 90-minute computer lab. So it's a double compressed class that you can come and attend. So I think that what we've done is we've said, hey, we can put the information content delivery via the lectures online, and then we're actually giving you more time in the class with actually invested people. The other thing that's important is that I get to curate your learning experience in this course a bit, and that means I make decisions about the software that we use. And the important decisions that I've made are around that we'll do some data management work with Microsoft Excel, and we'll use R and the RStudio interface for statistics. Excel is in every workplace I've ever experienced, government departments, private sector, universities, everywhere. So I think it's really important that we learn how to work with Excel and be effective in our data management with Excel. R and RStudio are open source statistics software, and that means that they're free. So I graduated from my course at university or my postgraduate degree and went to work for a consulting firm and expected them to have the software that I was using at university, and they just sort of looked at me like, are you serious? You think we're going to spend thousands of dollars on you to get the software that you need? No. That's not how it works. So we're going with an open source platform, which means it's free. So if you end up in a university, if you end up in the private sector, if you end up in government, you can use RStudio and R. The other thing that it facilitates is reproducibility in research. And I have a philosophical commitment to this. It means that you should make your research available and people should be able to reproduce your research. So R means that you're learning something that is very fundamental in science. If we're to avoid bad science, we need to make our data and the way that we do our estimation and our analysis available for review. And RStudio and R are fundamental in allowing us a common platform across users. So that's important. That's, long term, of course. You're just starting out at university and not many people are going to stay in here and want to do reproducible research, but it's important to start from day one that this is a philosophical commitment. The other thing that's important is, do I have a textbook? Do we have some notes? Okay, so we have course notes. The notes have been a major investment for me over my evenings for about a year to try and produce something that combines how to use R and statistics revision for you. if I was to set a textbook, the textbook for the statistics content in the course would be, if you go into the bookstore, about $140, and it would be the same price for the how to use the software. And I just don't think that it's right that we should charge you that money. So I've invested my time. There's no gain for me at all. This is just something that I believe in. This open source and knowledge we should make it available to people. So we've invested time to create a resource for you to use. So that resource is on the LMS. So there's, and I hope you find it valuable. The downside is it's my first edition of doing this. So there's likely to be some mistakes and things that we have to correct. The upside is I've done this so you don't have to buy a book. And it's released under Creative Commons, which means other people can take this work, reinterpret it, republish it, and keep the knowledge base moving. So I think that as someone that is supported by the government in having a position at a university, it's my commitment to try and make knowledge available to everyone, not just in the course. And then in terms of the assessment, this will become clearer to you as we work through this. I really don't think that we're going to a philosophy of can you develop the mathematical principles or do the proofs. That kind of stuff I think is not so useful for where most people are going, but it's about using statistics and data analysis and data presentation techniques to communicate. So a lot of the assessment is about presenting written work. In fact, you'll see that the majority of the assessment is about writing up your results, communicating effectively. And we'll go through that in a bit more detail as in the first proper lecture, which will be recorded and released on a Wednesday. So lectures will get released on Wednesdays. Okay, so in terms of administration things, just some things to cover on here. So you now know who the unit coordinator is. You can find me. Like everyone at university, I'm really busy. I teach into 3 courses at the moment in a major way, and I contribute to 1 other course in a minor way. So that means that I'm quite busy. So I do try and sweep through my responses. But if you use the tools available on the LMS, which are primarily to use the discussion forums and post the questions, I go through there pretty regularly and turn around answers to you. If you don't feel comfortable posting to the LMS because you don't want your name revealed or you think it's a dumb question or something like that, that's fine. You can email me the question and then I'll post it. And so it will be posted by a student, not you. There is no such thing as a dumb question. There will be many people. If you have a question, you can be guaranteed that other people have this question. But if you really don't want to see your name there, that's fine. Just send me the question, but I won't reply to your email. I'll post your question and my answer to your question on the LMS. The other thing to note is that there are often issues that arise during your course. You may have some illness in the family or something crazy comes up. The Science Student Office is there to support you and deal with those things. So they can coordinate with all of your unit coordinators, the notice that, hey, person A is having this problem. I've granted that the issue has been assessed. You as unit coordinator don't need to know about the details. You just need to know that this person has an extension. And it means it's a central way to coordinate with all of your unit coordinators. Instead of you having to coordinate with 4 different unit coordinators, you go to the Science Student Office, they take care of everything. In terms of communication, you'll get a weekly email from me that will arrive on Mondays, and that will explain what's coming, what we've done. If there have been a few things that have been commented on the discussion forums, I might summarize that in the email, but we have a weekly roundup and looking forward communication, and that seems to pick up most things. The important thing to notice about that is that I do assume that you are going to be able to check your email, and that when's that important? It's important for assessment items. So when we have different assessment items, I might use this email communication to tell you important things about those assessment items. So it's important that you keep tabs on those communications. Really, the final thing that I want to cover off on here in this sort of opening intros thing is some expectations. So what I've got here is really a rephrasing of the things that are in the unit outline. So the unit outline is really important for you to spend some time reading that. Most questions that you're going to have are answered in the unit outline. I would say it's really frustrating for me to get 10 emails on a question and the answer was in the unit email. So I expect you to make use of the resources that are available to you and read the unit outline before you send me an email or post a question. So I've rephrased the learning objectives from the unit outline here, and these are the things that you can expect to learn from me. So it's okay, you can have some expectations and you can think about the course and say, hey, did this guy actually teach me what he said he was going to teach me? That's a fine expectation to have. My expectations of you, what I've got here is that if you invest a little time in the unit, so you don't pay much attention, you don't come to class, and you do badly, that's your choice. If you invest in the course, you'll get a lot out of it. So I just expect you to take ownership of the decisions that are available to you. It's not my problem whether you want to get a lot out of the course or not. It's your choice. So if you choose to blow off class, then you're choosing to maybe not get such a great mark in the class. That's fine, but just don't blame me if you fail the course. I also expect you to take advantage of the help. So that means I expect you, if you're having a problem, to ask questions in the lab. I expect you, if you're having a problem, to make access of the tutors to answer questions. I expect you, if you're having a problem, to make access to the university central student assist services that are available. So I'm going to support you through the course. If you have a question, I'm going to be there to try and help you answer it. The tutors are going to be there to help you answer it. We want to support you and hope that you get a good learning experience out of the course and feel really positive and enthusiastic about what you do. So there's lots of resources and we're going to give you lots of help. On the converse, or the flip side to that, is if you choose to not access those things, you need to take ownership of those decisions that you make. You chose not to access the support and the consequences follow from that. So that's all I've got for you here. We're going to continue with proper lectures being posted on the Wednesday each week. I look forward to seeing you all in the second week of the course, which is when we have our first face-to-face time. Look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.